The Lord Giveth. Right. I wanted to do some content that's been kind of triggered by a very well known UK TikTok tarot reader um, who's come out and confessed something. Now, this isn't about bashing them. I am going to highlight a couple of things whereby I think that they could have mentioned and moving forwards. But this is more about, the phrase of the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. So I'm not going to name this creator. They're probably one of the best known UK TikTok tarot readers. They've not been seen in a long time. And long and short of it is that they've basically admitted that they've kind of they've been taking people's money for readings and they're not doing them. Okay, for personal reasons. Their life's got in the way, mental health, blah 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 blah. And I just want to say that I think it is incredibly brave of them to come on and admit this and ask for forgiveness. So good on them for doing that. Now, I just wanted to, I suppose, not for this reader because they won't see me. I just wanted to, I suppose, highlight first off the dangers of pseudo TikTok success, and fame and what's wrapped up in it, and also to warn people that although this might seem like a test in regard to admission for this creator and anybody else who finds themselves in this position either now or later on, the real test is actually coming up. Okay, now when you're given these gifts and you're allowed a platform of any sort, be it TikTok or you just gain kind of traction out and about in the field, you have to see these gifts and abilities as a privilege. Now, we all have psychic abilities, and it's about how open you are to opening them up, and etc. etc. Now, this creator is young. They've got, in my opinion, I don't want to say a lot of life lessons to go through because I don't like judging people based on their age. Because I see it in a spiritual sense, our souls might be a lot younger. However, as they said in this content, they kind of portrayed themselves as this kind of guru. Now, I did used to watch their content, their readings for me. I was probably in some of their collective on occasion, and they were extremely good. The problem is, if you abuse that power, if you fail that test, and the money and the ego and the greed kicks in, Source has every right to remove that. Okay. Now, I've had another creator who's got far more followers than me on here, who has unfortunately crossed paths with me in the astral, and having seen some of their recent content, they're looking a little bit twitchy. Yeah. So, Source can take away your gifts and abilities. Now, the sad fact is, when you're on this platform or any other platform and you start to gain kind of traction and money, that's the test. That's one test. How do you handle that? Do you dip into that greed? Now, as I've always said, and I will always say, as a reader, as a creator, we deserve to be paid our worth. There's nothing wrong with that. God only knows I'd like to make an awful lot more money than I am doing now because I deserve it. But I would like to think that I will never take somebody's money and not do a reading. Okay. Now, just as a side note, if anybody's concerned about that with myself, I use Stun Store. It's a paid for kind of online mobile service app, if you want to call it that. It's like a mini website. Now, because I pay for that service, there are other ones available, but I pay for that one because it was the only one that could really integrate my booking system. With Sunstore, when somebody pays me, it goes into a holding account. So if you ever don't get your reading for whatever reason, which won't happen, the only time it doesn't happen is if you've got an automatic filter blocker on your email address. So anything with a link just automatically gets blocked. But when you purchase a reading, the first thing you get is confirmation saying, if you've not received this, please text me or contact me in another way. And sadly, it does sometimes happen, but people are quite on the ball now to contact me, and I send the link through text or WhatsApp or whatever. Yeah, stand store, hold the money. So if there is any issues for whatever reason, I mean, if I do the reading and you don't like it, you're not going to get a refund. But there's that kind of protection there. So I do encourage people to use my stand store. You can contact me directly, don't get me wrong. But yeah, there is some protection there with that. Now, for me, one area that we need to kind of address here is, although this is me bashing them, because I would imagine it was extremely difficult to kind of put that content out there. But for me, there was a little bit, or it was basically all about them, and how they were feeling and what they've gone through. They did apologise to the people that they'd done this to. But for me, there was no accountability in regard to the effect and damage this is going to have potentially on other readers and the spiritual industry as a large. Because the problem is that we have these fake readers. Either they're doing it on purpose or they're deliberately being fake. I mean, I was pointed to an account recently, I've blocked them now, whereby a lot of the content and what they were saying was kind of the stuff that I say, kind of verbatim. And funnily enough, on this person's account, I was kind of scrolling through some of the content, and they posted this on this day. And this on this day content basically said, oh, it looked like TikTok's going to get banned, so I've decided to buy myself some cards and have a go at this tarot lot. Now, ironically, since I've had to get rid of my main account due to bot attacks, this person now has more followers than me. Nothing I can do about it, but you know. So yeah, we're already up against it, and I feel like this creator's actions will have a negative impact on the industry. You know, like I say, they've probably got one of the highest UK tarot reader followings, and if their followers who have kind of supported them through this and throughout kind of go, but you fucked me over, and if I can't trust you, who can I trust? It has an effect on the rest of us lower down on the rung. Now, having seen this creator's video, they have good support there, and I'm pleased that people are supporting them, and I hope that they can turn this around. Now, the problem is that this is where the real test comes in, okay? Because it will be easy for them to get sucked back into this very easily. So I had a quick search in regard to figures. I'm not saying this is gospel because this was just a Google search. But that post alone, having them not posted in several months, has currently got in the region of 50,000 views, over 7,000 likes. Okay, they've switched the comments off. Fair play to them, because they'll just get a load of abuse. But having over 7,000 likes shows that there is that support there. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Now, based on that, and I would assume that they're on the old version of the creator program where they get the higher rate, that post alone is going to earn them in the region of 20 to 50 pounds. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't continue to earn money after they've made a mistake. We all make mistakes. And as they say in there, they hope that people can forgive them. Okay. The problem is, for me, they have the potential to continue earning a hell of a lot of money, based, despite the fact that they've done something that they shouldn't have done, is completely against spiritual ethics and morals. Now, for me, I've got no choice over this, have I? But will Source give them another chance, or will they remove their gifts and abilities? And if they have their gifts and abilities removed, are they going to fall into the trap that so many psychics and mediums out there do, especially about out and about on the event circuit, where they continue anyway and they fudge it and they lie and they just end up talking about themselves all the time? That's the next test. Are you going to fall back into that? And if you do lose your gifts and abilities, are you going to be big enough to walk away? Okay. Now, what I would probably suggest, and this is just a suggestion, because I understand that what they've done is they've created a new IG account, and I've had a quick look because I like to do my research. Don't get me wrong. Don't go into mega detail. They have created a new IG account. Now, what I would say to this creator is, if you are truly sorry, if you do want forgiveness, not just from the public, but from source, why don't you delete that account with over 300,000 followers and start a new one? Why don't you come down to the bottom rungs with the rest of us and start again where it's hard? Now, it is hard because, as we all know, I had to get rid of my main account. I was only at 25,000. That's nothing compared to what they're at. And it's hard. Now, you have the advantage of having a lot of support there. But I guarantee you the whole 300,000 won't come across, and they won't. I'm still getting people trickling through months later on the lives going, where have you been? But I would suggest to them, start again. Repent, start again. Because as far as I'm concerned, and this isn't sour grapes, because like I say, I think it's an amazingly brave thing of them to do. However, they've abused their psychic gifts and abilities. Start again where we've all had to start off. Show that you are really sorry. Actions speak louder than words. Why don't you use your platform to help support creators who are lower down that you like? If you decide, which I personally think that you shouldn't do, to keep that account and continue to earn money off it, why don't you support the readers lower down on the rung? Because I do see these big creators supporting other readers, but it's always their mates with the same kind of follower account. And again, it's locking other people out. So yeah, I suppose when you have that platform, when you have that responsibility to help people change their lives, don't abuse it. Sadly, this creator has done that. They've admitted to it, and good on them for admitting it. Like I say, this isn't about bashing them. I would just say, right, so you've kind of admitted what's gone off here. You're taking your, for want of a better phrase, public humiliation ritual by going through that, and that will restore some karma. But why not take this further? Because like I say, being one of the biggest UK TikTok tarot readers, your actions has an effect on all of us. So for me, prove yourself. Start again. Don't start taking money out of TikTok and away from the rest of us, sucking up all the views and the likes when you fucked it. Don't fuck it for us. So yeah, if you're a big creator or if you have big standing and following, don't abuse that power. Don't turn to the dark side and start dipping into greed. If you have a problem, speak out, lean on people. And if you've got a client base, inform the clients. Don't take advantage of them. Because once you've lost them, you've lost everything. Just something to think about. Ta-ta.